You're on board the Newstrack. India's top off spinner Ravichandran Ashwin has said that he will no longer be playing the IPL because of COVID. He wants to spend time with his family. Several international players have come out and announced that they will be donating a part of their earnings for the fight against COVID-19. The question though remains, why are the biggest Indian cricketing superstars still missing in action? Even if they've done something, it isn't out in the public, and at a time when the entire country is struggling, there's so much grief, there's so much sorrow, there's so much pain. Shouldn't the top stars of the Indian cricketing team also be coming out and doing their bit and be seen as being doing their bit?
The wait is finally over. It is time for the 2020 of 2020. Now on behalf of the
Indian Premier League, they call it India Ka Tyohar. With the country in turmoil due to raging COVID cases and havoc caused by it, the IPL continues.
That's got him. Just left him ever so slightly, and that's a big wicket.
With the IPL now in its third week, players have started to feel the heat.
Way down the mid-wicket and into the boundary for four.
Delhi Capital spinner R Ashwin has opted out of the IPL due to reasons related to COVID-19, which has affected his immediate family. As far Indians in the IPL are concerned, Ashwin may have taken the lead, but so far 3 Australians, Andrew Tye, Kane Richardson and Adam Zampa and Livingstone, have already pulled out and flown back. The IPL now moves to its second leg in Delhi, which saw 23,000 cases and 350 deaths on Sunday, with the medical infrastructure crippled due to lack of resources. The IPL was initially planned to be staged in only 2 cities, and later that was increased to 6 cities.
And that's gone all the way.
Voices are already growing against the IPL, and the pullouts have only added fuel to the fire. The tragedies and horror stories have made the sentiment of the country a stark contrast to what IPL is aimed to bring with it, the celebrations. Sports Bureau, India Today.
Okay, I want to go across to Boria Majumdar, a consulting editor for sports. He's tracking the IPL very, very closely. Boria, why has Ravichandran Ashwin pulled out? What do you make of the fact that these Australian international cricketers are coming out donating a part of their salaries, their earnings for the fight against COVID? And where are all our big cricketing heroes? What are they doing, Boria?
You asked me 3 questions. The first, Ravichandran Ashwin, from what I know, there are issues with his family who are struggling with COVID, and our prayers and thoughts with them. Let's leave it at that, because this is a private thing for the family and no other reason. So it's not a statement or anything like that. There is every reason for Ravi Ashwin at this point in time to be with his wife, because there are family issues. There are health hazards. There are serious health issues in the family. That's answer number 1. Answer number 2, the Australian players pulling out. You know, there are all these countries have now put India on the red list, be it the UK, Australia has closed borders. So people are apprehensive. I've spoken to a number of Australian players. How do they go back? And it is an individual call, whether Pat Cummins donates $50,000 or Adam Zampa decides to go back. For me, it's an individual call. And the third one, you said, why aren't Indian players donating? You know, this is entire, firstly, they are. Let me be very, very clear. Whether it's Sachin Tendulkar funding ICUs in Assam or Virat Kohli, MS Dhoni, Rohit Sharma donating money, they have. Even last year, each of them donated multiple crores. Each of them support foundations. Each of them support charities in various different ways. Not that every time somebody has to come out and say in the public domain that I've given $50,000 or $60,000. So to doubt the IPL. And, you know, I have issues saying the IPL is only an extravaganza. No, it's not. And it's not about Virat Kohli and MS Dhoni. The IPL is also about the thousands who are employed as technical staff, broadcaster, journalists, people who are employed in the fantasy sports industry back end. And these guys do not earn in lakhs, they earn in thousands. So if you're talking about closing down the IPL, what you will also do is make another 50,000-60,000 Indians jobless, and including their families jobless. So to attack the IPL is a bit of a soft target. Rather, I was used that platform. I was actually speaking to Saurav Ganguly. You should use that platform against anti-vaxxers. Push the message out. Let Virat say every day, go take the vaccine. Push the message out about hygiene. Push the message out about protocol. Raise money. Use the IPL as a platform to help vaccination and fight COVID. Use the IPL as a positive platform rather than trying to berate it.
Well, they haven't been doing that either. So if they were to start using their platform to try and at least put some positive messages out, that will be a start. But right now, it almost is like a bubble, like they're existing in a vacuum, completely oblivious to what's happening outside, and that is very surreal. Boria Majumdar with some useful suggestions there on how, if you can't do away with the IPL this time, and it does serve a purpose, it does give people something to keep themselves engaged with, at least channelize that platform to the larger good. Thanks, Boria, for joining us. We're slipping into our next story now, which is to do with when will the wave really be at its peak, because that's the one question that people have asked often and again. We've seen what international modelers are saying. I now want to show you this report about the government's own estimates on when they think the peak will come and by when they believe that the worst will be behind us. Sneha Murdani with the story.
119,000 cases every single day. That is the projection for the state of Uttar Pradesh by the end of April, for the 30th of April to be precise. So is India prepared for a massive COVID explosion? In the state of UP, the projection is that there is going to be a need for over 20,000 beds with oxygen support, and there is going to be a shortfall of over 16,000 beds. In the state, more than 3,588 ICU beds will be needed, but there's going to be a shortfall of over 3,081 beds. The need for ventilators is going to be 1,794, but there is going to be a shortfall of 1,538 ventilators. The country's most populated state, also with a healthcare system that leaves much to be desired, will be worst hit. The projection for a peak is of 5 lakh cases every single day by May, and this is expected to subside sometime in June.
The states of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar are really in a difficult spot to cater to the surge in cases. The critical care needs to be strengthened in both state and district levels, and this is the time when the entire country has to come together in solidarity and support these states and the other states which require help. We need to fix the public health system by regrouping, refocusing and focusing all our energies in strengthening the critical care and save as many lives as possible.
Government sources say that in this meeting of the Prime Minister with the Chief Ministers, the big takeaway was that heavily populated states will face the biggest risks. Delhi may also see over 67,000 cases by the 30th of April. The projection is for a peak in mid-May, with an acute shortage of oxygen beds and ICU beds. The presentation that was made in this important meeting highlighted the kind of gap in demand and supply when it comes to oxygen beds and ICU beds. And other states were also discussed. For example, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra. All of these states will be facing acute shortage. Maharashtra is likely to see 1 lakh cases by the 30th of April. The centre has said that there should be a lockdown in the worst affected districts and infrastructure must be ramped up at a breakneck speed. In New Delhi, Sneha Murdani for India Today.
I've seen some of those internal estimates of the government. The worst case scenario presents a very, very scary picture. There is absolutely no way that any of us, whether you've had COVID or not, can let your guard down. We need to keep our guard up, keep our mask up, and ensure that we try our best to stay as far away from the virus as possible. That really is the only way. You don't want to end up as a number or a statistic on that booming hockey stick-like trend line. This is where we wrap up the Newstrack tonight. I look forward to seeing you at 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. Till then, from all of us here, goodbye, good night.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kanwal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.